Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and in today's video we're going to be discussing brokers. Now for a lot of people, brokers are like the devil right over here, right? So in this video we're going to be discussing what good brokers do, what bad brokers do, and what you as a CDL driver can actually do to take control of your future and get as rich as you want to get in this industry, no matter what the economy looks like. So you want to make sure you watch all the way to the end of the video, because I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks on how to avoid the bad brokers. Because the difference between a good broker and a bad broker could be the difference between you making money and losing money in trucking. Now, are freight brokers really the reason why truck drivers are struggling, or are they just an easy target? Ask a few truck drivers and you will get a lot of mixed results. Most of them are going to be telling you the same thing. Brokers are stealing my money. Now, how does this actually work? If you ask a broker, they'll say, we're just connecting shippers and carriers, and without us, trucks won't even be moving. So who's right? Let's break it down for you. So in order to fully understand how this thing works, you have to understand what is a freight broker and what do they actually do. At its most basic level, you can think of a freight broker as a middleman. Shippers have freight that they need moved, right? So people who are making things and need to be shipping things, those people need those freight moved from point A to point B. Drivers and carriers have trucks that need to move freight. So brokers are just the link between both of them. Here's how it works at its most simple level. A shipper needs to move a load from point A to point B and is willing to pay $1,500. The broker will then take the $1,500 and then find a driver to actually move that load for less than $1,500, and then he can make the difference. So for instance, if he actually says, hey, I have this load for $1,000, now the driver says, yes, I'll take that load. At that point, the broker made $500 and the driver or the carrier made $1,000 for that load specifically. And that's pretty much how things work. Now on paper, that might seem simple, but there are some bad actors out there that actually take more than what drivers think they deserve itself, right? Everyone wants to get paid, but some brokers out there will take a majority of it and leave the scraps for the drivers. So why are the actual drivers frustrated with this? Here's the main problem. Sometimes brokers are taking 30, 40, or even 50% of the total rate. And drivers rarely see the full rate sheet, which means they don't really know how much the shipper actually paid, which means they don't even know if they're actually getting a good deal or not. And when drivers have to consider things like their expenses, like their fuel, their insurance, their maintenance, and things like truck parking itself, if those rates keep going up, all of a sudden it makes it very difficult for people to actually make money if they get the bad end of a deal. So now you should understand a pretty good picture of why a lot of drivers don't like brokers. And if you were to take it to the extreme, there's something that you definitely want to avoid, which is called double brokering. And this is where you have multiple brokers in between the actual shipper and you. Now think about it. Anytime you add a broker, they're also making their cut. So say you have 2 brokers and now you're going to have 3. By the time it actually gets to you as a driver, you're going to have even less to operate your business on, and you have fixed expenses. So it can be very, very daunting for a driver who does not know what they're doing. So that's why we want to make sure that you're educated so you don't fall into those double broker scams and all of a sudden your revenue or whatever your rates are drop through the floor and you can't operate a business with a profit. So we talked a lot about the driver's view of bad brokers, but we have to be fair. Not all brokers are actually bad. The good ones actually develop long-term partnerships, which means they don't need a big amount of money for each individual freight. They would rather have a happy customer and a much easier time to build a great partnership with a freight mover like yourself. So long-term, they can make a lot of money and they don't have to worry about the ups and downs themselves. The right broker can actually open up access to business that you would never have been able to find on your own. And they handle a lot of things that drivers hate handling, things like billing, paperwork, compliance, and collections. So drivers can just focus on driving. And let's be real, without brokers, many owner-operators wouldn't even know where to start finding freight. So when you really think about it from a big picture, it's not all one-sided. There's good and bad in everything. It all depends on how you can actually find the best broker that satisfies your needs. So now that you know both sides, why drivers hate brokers and why some brokers are actually good, what can you actually do to make sure that you are the most successful CDL driver and owner-operator that you can actually be? So in a perfect world, you want to be able to build direct relationships with shippers, which means you can cut the broker out completely. How do you do that? As you start doing these loads over and over again, if you see some consistency, it's a good thing to start building a relationship with the managers there. Say, hey, how much are you paying the broker? You can save a little bit of money if you go directly with me, and I'm doing this load anyway. So they actually build that trust value. Also, anytime that you have down, when it means you're not driving itself, you can also start making cold calls. Now you might be saying, hey, I'm just a truck driver. I don't want to be in sales. Then you can't be mad at the broker because the broker does the things you don't want to do. But if you want to take full control of your future, you can actually be both, the broker and the driver, and you fully take control of your future itself. The other thing you should be able to do is use load boards wisely. So don't depend on them forever. Use this to kind of start your career off, start building relationships, and make sure you're always starting off with integrity. But one of the most important things you can do no matter where you are today is know your numbers. You should know exactly what it costs you to operate your vehicle per mile. And once you know your numbers, you know exactly what your floor is. And now when you're negotiating with brokers, you don't have to go below your floor. Because a lot of drivers just get desperate and they think they know their numbers, but they actually never did, which means that they're running for a week or a month and they wind up losing money, even though they've been working their butt off. And that all comes down to being a driver and being an owner-operator are two different skill sets. So if you want to be your own boss, make sure you have the skill sets to be your own boss. And then of course, like we talked about, there's good brokers and bad brokers out there. Make sure you're vetting your brokers. A lot of brokers try to position themselves where they are more important than you are. Now understand, without you, they can't move the product either, right? So stay strong in your negotiations, understand what your floor is, and make sure you're communicating and building good relationships with your good brokers. Now from the broker's point of view, what are they looking for in a good carrier? They're looking for somebody who's responsible, somebody who has integrity, somebody who does what they say they're going to do. And the best thing, the coolest trick that you can actually do with your broker is keep them updated on how the progress is going. Because the customer is going to be contacting the broker, and the last thing the customer wants to do is, hey, where's my load? I don't know. That's not a good answer. So if you periodically, once an hour, once every 2 hours, say, hey, just letting you know my ETA is blank, and keeping you in the loop, it's going to give the broker so much more certainty on you, which means just that small thing is going to give you a huge advantage compared to all the other trucking companies that they work with, and that's going to give you the best loads because they want their best team on the best loads and they're willing to pay you more. And ultimately, if you follow those steps, that's how you protect yourself and get yourself on the road to freedom. Because freedom to us means you'll have choices. And you can't have choices if you're getting bogged down by brokers who are negotiating you down and having you lose money. So take control of your future. You are not a victim here, and you can do it. So long story short, are freight brokers the real problem? Now that you have all the information, I want you to put in the comments below, what do you think the true problem is? Is it drivers just being victims, or is it the actual brokers themselves? It's probably going to be a mixture of both, but I've given you a path of no matter what economy we're currently in, you can actually create your future that you want and make as much money as you need to. Now, if you are looking to get yourself a CDL license, and this is a goal of yours, becoming an owner-operator, then I invite you to come to the best CDL school in the country here at Driving Academy. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, find a location near you, and we are happy to help you get your CDL license and get you on the road to freedom today. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to get your CDL license, you know where to go. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, right over there. And if you like this video, you'll definitely like this video right over here. So make sure you check that out. But before anything else, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you soon.